Neighbors. Watch out for neighbors. Check out the neighbors before you buy land.
These hot dogs are almost done.
It's burnt.
Yeah, if you're way out in the country, you want to make sure that you're going to be able to get a job. There's no traffic out here. There's not any pollution. A lot of people are worried about hospitals.
Sit. Okay, let's shake. Oh, that's a big dog. That's a big dog. So little Eli here is about 4 months old now. He's still in the training stages, but he's doing really well.
So a lot of you know I have OffGrid Property in Oklahoma. You know, when I started, I got this property about 12 years ago, and there's a lot of things that have changed. Prices of these tiny houses, prices of land, and just the general cost of living. I wanted to tell you about the things I would do and wouldn't do if I had to do it all over again. So yeah, some of the things that I'm actually proud of is the fact that I was able to get my land for around $1,200 an acre. That was almost 12 years ago, and you can't really find it for that price anymore. So I believe it was a blessing that I even came up with these ideas that many years ago. So with that being said, sometimes I wish I would have bought a little more than 30 acres. But if I had to do it again nowadays, I'd be happy with 5 or 10 acres because the price is so much higher. So the video is not necessarily all about the don'ts, but it's also about the do's. I'm going to tell you some of the things that I'm proud of doing also. So, you know, as far as the land goes, I got mine for a 10-year note on a 10% annual finance.
Well, hey there, Eli. Hey, buddy.
If I had to do that over again now today, I would definitely do that. So when I first bought the land, I went basically to the top of the hill on my property. And the reason I went up there is because I knew that, you know, water was going to run downhill from there. So I tried to find the flattest place. At that time, I was going to put my camper out there. And I knew if I was going to build a house in the future that I was going to have the house up there too. If you're going to clear your old land, I suggest maybe you, get somebody to do it with a dozer, or you rent a dozer, or maybe just get a track hoe where you can dig up a lot of trees and push them over. And make sure you have a thumb on the track hoe if you're going to do that.
You sit. You shake. Oh, give me shake, not a bite. Shake. Shake. Oh, look at him shake. Look at that baby shake.
So what about these cabins? What about these little tiny houses, or these things that they call shed to houses? A lot of people are saying, you can't put one of those in the city. You can't put one of those behind your house. You can't put one of those on a piece of property. Well, the fact of the matter is you can do that, but it has to be the right city. It has to be the right county. It has to be the right area. And for the most part, it needs to be far out into the country. Like I've said before, it needs to be on a piece of land with no restrictions and no covenants. And the farther you get out into the country, the less likely you're going to have any issues. But you're always going to have to check with the local county that you live in. And the state that you live in is going to have its own regulations. I'm not saying it's going to be the easiest thing in the world to do, but you got to find a place that's going to let you have one of these tiny houses. I know that there are a lot of counties out there that say they only want houses in their county that are 600 square foot or larger. So that's not going to work for you. I know there's some counties in Texas allow it, and a bunch of counties in Oklahoma allow it, and several other states. So that's definitely one of the don'ts. Don't just go out there and buy one of these sheds that you want to turn into a home unless you've done your homework first. Unless you have a place to put it, don't just jump the gun. Yeah, so don't get yourself in that kind of mess. Think before you act. I was just lucky because I didn't really check into it too deep. See, what I think a lot of us are trying to do is get out of the fact that we messed up when we were younger. If you do a deal like I did, you can actually own everything within about 10 years. You're going to have to make payments on one of those tiny houses for about 3 years, and you're going to have to make payments on your land for about 10 years. So what about taxes on something like this? A lot of people are always concerned about the taxes. Let me tell you about my taxes. It's always going to be different in the area you're at, but the taxes on the 30 acres was just $12 a year. I put a cabin out there, 2 or 3 sheds, and then I put another cabin out there and another shed. The tax assessor showed up about 4 years into my ordeal, and he went from $12 a year to about $112 a year. And then he came back about 4 years later, and now we're sitting somewhere around $142 a year. So the overall plan was to have the land paid off in 10 years. I paid $8,400 for my house, so I figured at that point, in the next 3 or 4 years, I would just be working on the inside of the house. So yeah, that brings me to another point. If I had it to do all over again, I wouldn't move anything into the house until I completely had the house done. It just seems like a big ordeal to have to move everything out of the house to put floors down, and everything back out of the house to put the sheetrock up, and then everything back in the house once the sheetrock's up. And then the same thing whenever I framed the bathroom in, I had to pull all this stuff to one side of the house, frame the bathroom in, and then push all the stuff on back to the other side of the house. And to me, the time and the effort and everything is just, it makes it really tough. Another thing, my house is on bricks. Whenever they bring these houses out, they put them on bricks and they level them out for you, and then they walk away. And the thing about mine is, it's lower than I want it to be. I didn't realize it was that low when they were putting it in, and I never really thought ahead when it come to the plumbing. I'm going to have to raise my house up now higher so I can redo all my plumbing underneath, because I can't fit under the house. If they're going to bring a pre-built house out for you like they did mine, make sure that when they level it, that you put the extra bricks and get it the height that you want it. Alright, these hot dogs are almost done. If a hot dog don't have some burn on it, I don't want it. So I'm not trying to complain here. I'm really happy with what I got. I want to tell you about these mistakes because maybe it'll help somebody else. Maybe it can save you some money. One of the biggest things out here where I'm at is the weather. The weather seems to destroy everything. And I've seen so much stuff worth so much money go right down the drain because the weather tore it up. I mean, take for instance this pool. I put this pool in 2 years ago. We built the pad underneath it, put the pool in. We swam in the pool one summer. Pool hasn't been swam in since, and now it just looks like a fish pond here in the backyard. It's disgusting, actually. So if you don't have the right tools, you don't have the means, or you don't have the want to take care of something, then don't get it. And the same thing goes with like vehicles. Don't just leave your vehicle sitting out here in the middle of nowhere, because they'll just self-destruct. They destroy themselves. I mean, rats get inside of them. They start eating the wiring and things like that. You can't just not maintain things out here in the country. I mean, I even have barbed wire fencing that I put up, 12 years ago, and I really didn't do a good job. I wrapped it around trees, and now the trees have broke and fell over and stuff like that. And I mean, just do it right the first time. That's all I'm saying. The plugs, the receptacles. I put all my receptacles up high. I put them up about 2.5 feet off the floor. When you have receptacles that are way down by the floor, the older you get, the harder it gets to plug and unplug things. So here's something that everybody's interested in: hot water. What's the best way to have hot water when you're off grid? Well, at first I thought propane was going to be the best way, but I don't want your conventional water heater and trying to keep 50 gallons of hot water 24/7. So I decided to go with a propane instant hot water heater. This way I would only be using energy when I needed the hot water. So really that worked out good, and I always thought that having an electric hot water heater was just completely out of the question. Well, now that I've built my solar system really powerful, I'm having second thoughts. I'm looking into instant electric hot water heaters. I found some of these instant hot water heaters that are only pulling around 3,000 watts, and my system right now is capable of pushing around 6,000 watts, so I should be okay there. Now I'm thinking about this whole ordeal. Do I have enough power to run everything on electric? And really my answer is yes. So yeah, what I think this means is one of my biggest regrets on this thing could be just not doing all of my homework before I started doing all this. And that's kind of what I did. If you don't take chances, you may never win. If you don't take chances, you may never get ahead. And really it's working out good. And I've really come up with some great ideas. And there's a lot of people that have followed my path, and there's a lot of people that are watching my YouTube, and they have also been successful at going off grid. Okay, septic. What about the septic? A lot of people ask about the septic. Well, let me tell you about it. I did a gray water septic because a gray water septic is a legal septic that you can do without a license. If you do a regular septic, or what they, call a black water septic that takes all of the water from your house, you definitely have to have a permit, which means you have to have like a licensed plumber come out and install the septic, or at minimum you have to have a licensed plumber sign off on it so you can get it permitted. But where I'm at, that's about the only thing that has to be permitted. I think internet may be one of the single biggest things people ask about when living off grid. And the best thing I can tell you is pretty much no matter where you're at in the United States, you can always get satellite internet. Just about all areas satellite's gonna work. And that includes Starlink, trash pickup, burning your own trash. So where I'm at, there's no trash pickup. If that's something that bothers you, then you don't want to get a place like mine. In this state, the law says if there's no normal trash pickup available, that you're able to take care of your own trash yourself. Now, one of the things you absolutely cannot do is burn tires, but you can burn all of your trash.